We are coming close to the end of our program, but before we do that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Gavin Chua, Head of Stakeholder Engagement Asia Pacific at Meta. Gavin and Meta were one of EB Impact's first supporters and funders, and together we created the Sustainability Exchange Program. We thought it was only right for him to provide the closing remarks for tonight. Please join me in welcoming Gavin.
Okay, now I figure out how you could fall as a step, the stage. Right? It's a pleasure to give some, actually, if you look at the invitation, it says 6 p.m. till late, right? So this is not closing remarks. I'm not sure how late you want to stay. But actually, I think it might be useful to think about, closing together. Because from what you have encountered over the last few hours tonight, just listening to Jess, and listening to Dr. Cole, there is a narrative, and maybe just unpack that a little bit, right? It's really, if you look at, for example, the logos that you see on the screen, and the youth around you, and sitting just maybe sometimes right next to you, or nearby tables, right? This is a very dangerous room, right? This is a dangerous room because you can do a lot of damage for climate mitigation, a whole lot of damage. Right? But the challenge is this, and maybe it's a good way to close with a call for action, right? Which is to think about how, looking at companies that are doing great work, how we can band together more. Because the challenges, especially in the green space, are increasingly more complex, but yet easy enough for different companies to come together and find a solution, right? And increasingly, we don't have to do this by ourselves. Let me give one example. In working with EB Impact, and working really with, tonight, if you see Erin, she's not just the host for tonight. She's been amazing working with her, and actually there's Deanne Anderson, where are you? She's the former head of EB Impact. She's here as well. So in working with both of them, you cannot imagine how lean the team is. But backed by, a powerful board, right, sitting at the table here, giving constant advice out of their own free time because they have their day jobs. All of us do, right? But giving advice because why? We have this common vision in the problems that are quite pressing that we need to solve. And just sharing the example with Aaron and Deanne, what happened was when we came together, we realized out of about 3-4 years of sponsoring different programs you've heard about from Jazz, we have a problem. The problem is we started growing all these networks involving youth influencers, involving corporate mentors, involving academics. The problem is they're quite disparate, but they're growing. How do we merge them together to create more damage, right? I think that's where company sponsors can come in. So I was sitting beside Esther at CDL, and she was sharing with me an example of a new program. I'm not supposed to share, right? Yeah, but never mind. The example is ripe. She's working with a bunch of corporate partners and stringing together the strengths of what each can bring to build a stronger program. I think this is what it's all about. So to take a step back in closing together, take a look at yourselves, right, on the screen, and see how you can reach out maybe to your competitors, right? You don't have to be your peers, and come together and say, hey, this is a common problem. How do we address it together? I think that'll be quite interesting for next year when we come together and share more stories about how we do this, right? Thank you.